And here are the standings after 13 rounds in the FIDE candidates final. Sergey Karjakin, Fabiano Caruana with 7.5. Heartbreaker by Fabiano in the 13th round against Fiddler. Rook and Bishop against Rook drew. Vishy Anand with 7. Peter's Fiddler, Anish Giri, Levin Aronian, and my buddy from the U.S., Carl Nakamura, 6.5. Veselin Topalov with 4. Tough break for Veselin. The long and the short of it is, in round 14, Fabiano Caruana plays Sergey Karjakin. Karjakin has white, Caruana has black. Fabiano has to win. If he draws, Sergey Karjakin wins on tiebreaks. So, as we go into the 14th round, looking better and better for the Russian. But us in America can still hope. Go Fabiano. But that's the standings after 13 rounds. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 14, the last round. The FIDE Candidates Final 2016. This is between Sergey Karjakin from Russia and Fabiano Caruana from the U.S. Unfortunately, because of the ridiculousness of the FIDE tiebreak system, if Fabiano draws, he loses. They tie, and Karjakin wins on tiebreaks. Totally absurd, absolutely ridiculous. Argon, or wherever it is, Agon, or whoever the heck it is that's sponsoring this thing, wanted more people to watch online. They even stopped the relay of the moves to other websites. So they wanted to allow their people to watch on their website. So why didn't they have a playoff schedule? If a tie, you have a playoff game, which would draw hundreds of thousands of people. Oh well, you can't fix stupid. So let's get to it. Karjakin is white. Fabiano is black. It's going to be a rouser, a Sicilian. Go through the openings here. It's probably the best shot that Fabiano has. He has to win as black. Pawn, queen, pretty much standard stuff. We'll just go through the opening here. Bishop d7. Interesting move by Karjakin here. f4. That shows he's going for it too. There's a lot at stake here. In fact, rough figuring, whoever makes it to the World Championship, win or lose, even if they lose, it's $500,000. This is a $500,000 game. One game gets you $500,000. Doesn't even counting the fact, I believe it's about $117,000 to win the candidates final. So you're looking at over a $500,000 swing. That's a lot of pressure. h6. Bishop moves, b5. Bishop takes. G takes, which is the correct move on the computer. It's an interesting position. I don't like the fact that black's not castled, but you get the extra tempo that way. f5. Queen b6. Of course, white wouldn't want to take. But he does. And then black takes and straightens out his pawns. Okay. It's an even game. Could go anybody's way. A lot of center pawns for black. Let's see how it goes. Knight takes. I like bishop takes better. But he took with the queen. Bishop d3. h5. King b1. b4. Typical b push on the Sicilian, force of the knight to move. Queen c5. Now let's take a breath here. Tiny advantage for white. Of course, you see why the king went here. This really brutal hit on his queen against the king. Who's Fabiano got here? He has to win. Rook to f1. Threatening the pawn. Bishop h6, hitting the queen. Intermezzo move, queen to e1, a5. He's giving him the pawn. He can take it. He can take it if he wants to. But will he? Decides to go b3, which I think is a darn good move. Now the computer didn't like it at all. Computer wanted rook takes f6, but because the computer is cold-blooded, it's a great defender. It doesn't get flustered by positions. I like b3. You got to remember, all he needs to do is draw, not taking any chances. If he had taken the pawn after queen e5, rook to f3, rook g8, and he's a pawn up. But after b3, rook g8 anyway, g3, king e7. What to do, what to do. I mean, just put yourself in Fabiano's spot right now. The game's progressing. He tried an opening he had the best shot with. It's difficult at best. His king's in the middle of the board, and he has to win this game. I'll tell you. That's a lot of pressure for anybody, especially somebody that young. So here goes bishop c4, bishop e3, trying to get that bishop into the hunt somehow. Whoops, wrong way. Into the hunt somehow. Rook f3. Rook goes to g4. He's pushing. He has to. What's the best move or not? He's just hoping that Karjakin stumbles. Queen f1. Rook f8. Knight comes in. Bishop takes. Rook takes. a4. Got to try something. But that king side for white is just battled up. There is no dark square bishop anymore, so he can't sneak the queen in. But somehow he's got to find a way to get his queen on this diagonal, and it's not going to happen. Oop, I'm a little screwy with my arrows today. Pawn takes. Bishop takes. Queen goes to d3. Locking in that queen to protect the black pawn on d6. At the same time, helping defend the white king. Bishop c6. Bishop b3. That's perfect. His bishop's in a good spot, and it's also there guarding his pawns around his king. That's a good move. I'll give him that. If he had gone h3 instead, rook h4, rook e5, with a minuscule advantage for black. After bishop to b3, can't trade. Doesn't want to trade. More trades you have, the better chance it draws, and he can't draw. e5. Tough, tough, tough. Rook takes. Rook c4. Rook. Now this is the move out of the blue. See if you can find it. Stop the video. What the best move is here. Queen e2 is the computer's second choice. Queen takes d5. Queen takes d5. That's a hell of a move. But he didn't do that. He went queen e2. He played it safe. Queen b6. Rook to h4. Now white's starting to counterattack. Rook hits the queen. Queen at d3. Threatening that pawn. Bishop g2. I think that was the error. d5, queen b8. He went bishop g2. He's trying to keep that bishop instead of going all the way to the corner. He wants to keep him so he can come back and maybe help attack. Rook d4, pawn push. Queen to d2. You see that Fabiano's running out of options. And rook to e4, that was, I think, the final mistake. Bishop e4 was probably a little better. Bishop f3, or even h3 for that matter. But he went rook e4, and that was the end. Beautiful move here. Rook takes. Beautiful move. He takes the rook, and this is the end. Queen takes d5. We're on move 38. Is really short on time. Rook to d4 is the computer suggestion, believe it or not. But he moves the queen to c7, and that's the end. If he had gone rook to d4, queen takes, rook takes, rook b8. It still sucks. He still can't win. But it's better than what happened. Left the queen to c7. Queen, beautiful move. Queen to f5. What a beautiful, beautiful, just a subtle move. Rook f7. Bishop takes. He can't take it. Queen goes here. And watch the rest of this. Is beautiful. King f8. Rook to d8, check. And that's for Fabiano Caruana from the United States resigns. To give you an idea what would have happened. Queen's got a block. Bishop takes. Rook checks. Just to give you an idea of the ridiculousness that would happen. And it's over. You have to give everything away to save your king. So, tough break for Fabiano Caruana tying. He's going to go back and look at some of the games. A couple of them he was doing fairly well and drew. A couple he was doing really badly and drew. The half a point that got away would have put him in the finals for the World Championship. And as an American, I'll tell you the truth, I'm heartbroken. I congratulate Sergei Karjakin. He played a hell of a tournament. But I've been waiting since 1972, since I was a young boy, to have an American in the finals. And to come this close. It's heartbreaking. Anyway, folks, that's the last game from the Moscow Candidates Final 2016. I hope you enjoyed the series of games. My understanding is this November will be the World Championship. Sergei Karjakin versus the current world champion Magnus Carlsen. We're going to look forward to that. Coming up in the next few days is the U.S. Championship and the U.S. Women's Championship. That ought to be great, so look forward to that. And until then, I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.